Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe if you support the mighty Villa. Subscribe if you are disappointed that we have gone out of the Carabao Cup. Big opportunity tonight, really, I think, against Crystal Palace, particularly with Eze and Wharton going off in the first 20 minutes. Us pulling back an equaliser soon enough after going one down. You'd have thought we'd probably build from there and go on then to, get a solid 2-3-1 win. And to be fair, there were parts of the first half where it looked like that was going to be the case. But instead, second half, we came out, and I just don't think we did anything second half, really. I mean, let's put it in context, really. Fair play to Crystal Palace. I think Palace are needing to build form, and to be honest, they turned up with their strongest team, and Villa didn't. And I think second half that really showed. Even though Eze and Wharton went off, I think particularly defensively, it looked to me like Villa just didn't really have the nous or the know-how to really kind of break them down. And whereas Crystal Palace just did, and even players like Will Hughes just been busy and awkward in the middle, made a difference for them. Um, but I think Villa, we had Black Sabbath on the back of the shirt. It probably should have been Mötley Crüe because it was a bit of a Mötley Crüe of a team, wasn't it? You got players who you don't really see that often. You've got players who don't really play that much together. Amazing to see Tyrone Mings back after a year and 3 months out of football. A modern day legend for Aston Villa. To see him back was incredible. And I think there were moments tonight where you saw things that he contributes that we kind of have lacked. I think I've been saying for a good year and a half now that Aston Villa at times go from a team who look like they are composed and in control to being too casual. And I think Mings is a player who can counteract that if Villa do fall into that kind of casual mode. I think he's a player verbally and physically who can sort of get Villa out of that kind of funk that they sometimes fall into. There were moments tonight where I think he won big headers from set pieces. He he won headers from long balls forward from the keeper. He would run back and physically, clear a ball. Just his mere physicality and presence felt like something that was a bit different to what we've seen in Villa's defence for the last year and a bit. So I think he'll be a positive addition now for the rest of the season, hopefully. Amazing to see Mings back, as I say, modern day legend for Villa, and brilliant to see him there. Another player is back. Kamara obviously made a mistake for the first goal. I think you could put that down to just a bit of rustiness and, trying to be a bit too clever. But again, that's just you just put that down to you've not played for a long time, and maybe another if he's a bit sharper that'll come off. But it didn't, and he made the mistake that then led to Palace getting it out wide, ball into the box. I think it's Diego Carlos left Eze. I think it was him who could have been closer. And Eze just gets his goal. Quality player. And had he stayed on the pitch a bit longer, I dare say he'd have created even more chances for Palace. Buendia, another player who was back, he struggled. I think he just struggled tonight. I think every time he got the ball, it just looked a bit like he was surrounded. He'd have two or three players around him. Just not a night for him. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll come back to him. I just think he had an off night. Again, he's entitled to that coming back from a long-term injury. As for Kamara, actually, I should say, the ball he put into Leon Bailey ahead of the Duran goal was fantastic. He won the tackle. He put the ball over the top. The vision of that for a CDM is excellent. The way it passed was excellent. Bailey did well, get it back, and John Duran does John Duran things. And I thought first half, John Duran looked like the kind of striker that he's turning into, a player who, at his age of 20, the levels he looks like he can get to are extraordinarily high. Again, he was physically really good. He was winning headers. When he got space to run into, he looked like just a bit of a monster, really, didn't he? His passing choices were good, very good actually. His finish was excellent. He just looks like he's becoming a more all-rounded player. That said, I mean, second half, I thought he was pretty anonymous. I think again, it's probably down to just the fact he's not surrounded by Villa's absolute best attacking players. Yeah, he did go a bit quieter, and Palace had pretty much their strongest defense out, really. Laquan Gay, he played, Nathaniel Klein, so yeah, it was pretty strong defense. Otherwise, It was good seeing Nedeljkovic. I thought he had a slightly up and down first half. But second half, I think, whilst he went quiet towards the latter stage of it, again, I thought there were signs throughout this game at the age of 18. This guy, his physicality, his strength, his ability to run forward, his decision making. I think he's got all the raw ingredients to be a really, really top right back. I think we've got a real gem in Nedeljkovic. I just do. Every time I see him, I think, yep, I see it. Yes, he made one or two poor passes or decisions tonight, but when you're 18 years of age and you haven't played for a bloody month and a half, what do you expect? It's what's going to happen. And Professor Unai knows that. I think he had a decent full 90 minutes, and I hope we get to see more of Nedeljkovic in the Premier League because I really do think there's a proper player in there. But as I say, I think Villa first half it's quite decent, but then particularly after Eze and Water went off, to be honest. But then second half, I think we just were just. I think Palace's kind of familiarity with themselves as a collective 11. I think it just became a bit too much for Villa, who had a lot of players coming back from injury. Spine of the team was ACLFC. Mings first game back. Kamara, basically his first, it is his first start in 9 months, and then Emi Buendia coming back from another year out as well. So that's essentially Villa's spine. So of course we're going to be a bit out of sorts, a bit not quite at it, and then we've got lots of young players, Nedeljkovic, Joe Gauci, who I think came and claimed the ball well tonight. A couple of good moments from him as well. A young keeper, very early 20s, lack of experience of the sort of physicality and pace and intensity of English football, and that's something he'll get used to. Certainly think that he's, someone who might do a solid job as a number two. And then, other young players. Philogene played. I actually thought Philogene was pretty poor. He's had a sort of. He's been a bit like that with Villa, I think, so far since he's come back. He's had a couple of fantastic performances. Bayern, of course. Man United, I think he played well. And then he's had a couple of poor ones at Switch, that half an hour when he came on. And then tonight, I thought everything he tried to do just didn't really work for him. But that's just the nature of it. Again, very young player, just very new to Premier League football. So it is just going to be a bit up and down at times. And it'll click for him. He's showing against Bayern Munich what he's all about and how good he can be. So, look, no doubt there it will come for him. Everyone, as I say, when you're young and new to football, you're entitled to a night off every now and again. And then I think, as I say, John Duran earlier, I think he just looked like an absolute world beater in the first half at times. He's just his all-round players coming on leaps and bounds, and he's going to be a top player if he just continues the way he is. The second goal, weirdly, I actually thought I can't remember if it's Kamada, his name, the Japanese player for Crystal Palace. I actually thought I genuinely said to my fiance I was watching it with, I said, I think he's going to score a goal. I don't know what it was. He was just doing things. He's been pretty poor so far for Palace, but there were just little things he was doing tonight that I thought actually he's looking a bit more confident. And then Diego Carlos doing what Diego Carlos does. I don't know how many times he's done this for Villa now, but you give the ball out to him and he tries to make that pass into centre midfield, and he will just every few games make a hash of it straight into their pressing player, and they will score a goal from it. He did it against United last season away. He did it against Bournemouth last season away. He did it against Wolves this season at home. He's done it tonight against Palace at home. There's probably other occasions I've kind of forgotten about. He can have fantastic performances as he did against Bayern, Fulham, Man United. But you just have to accept that that's what Carlos does as well. He does give the ball away in really, really difficult positions for Villa in it, considering the way we want to play. And ultimately, we've given quite a lot of goals away now because of it. And it's cost us. Tonight, we've gone out of the Carabao Cup because of it. A loose ball in midfield. The good, seeing Mings back particularly. Kamara coming back. I think Kamara looked, again, first half, I thought he looked, apart from the first goal, of course, where he gave the ball away, he looked generally pretty excellent, actually winning lots of tackles, reading the ball, reading the game well, coming for the ball back to goal, passing off well, the ball into Bailey for the Villa's goal, really good. Just he's going to work his way back into the first 11 very soon, I think. And Mings showed again, a certain physicality and presence that we've kind of lacked. And it would just be good, therefore we can balance up the minutes with Pau Torres, Conser, and Carlos, where Mings can come in and start games, or if Pau does 60 minutes and then, you've got a Champions League game on the week, midweek, and you bring on Tyrone Mings to come out and see the game off. So, it's fantastic to see him back, honestly. And yeah, a few positive things. As I say, I think Nedeljkovic showed some really good signs. I really did. A few, look, again, a couple of sloppy passes, but that's a raw young player for you who's not played for a while. And I've been bigging him up for a while, and I really think there's a player in there. I like his physicality. I like just everything about him. I like it. But yeah, there we go. We're out. It's frustrating. I was in a chat towards the end of last season, where it was sort of brought up that Aston Villa, this season should aim to go and win a trophy. Yes, absolutely. I want Villa to win trophies all the time. My kind of thinking on it was, I think Villa are going to try and aim to get Champions League football again. And I just think the Carabao Cup might be a step too far for us when we've got such an incredible volume of games coming up to the end of December, if we want to continue to compete in the Champions League and continue to compete in the Premier League. And you are essentially relying on the strength of your, second string really to get you through. And they could have done, it could have happened, but they didn't. And ultimately, I think were we to have played our full strength first 11 tonight and then gone to Tottenham this weekend and, look knackered as we have done after Champions League games, I think there might have been quite a lot of annoyance, but it's a really difficult one. Do you want a trophy or do you want to continue with Champions League football? The way I've put it in my head is that I think Aston Villa, to compete for the top trophies long term, we need regular Champions League football, because within English football, unfortunately, you are looking at the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and you're going, well, I bloody hope someone knocks Man City out. I hope someone knocks Liverpool out. Villa can do it, but there's such an incredible strength of depth in the Premier League. You really are. It's so hard. It's so, so hard. And I just wonder if Villa getting Champions League football regularly, therefore upping their prestige as a club, upping their revenues and all that, it means that we can attract the better players, get the complete squads. And when we have that full squad, then we can go and win these trophies that we really want to go and win. Look, I think we can still go for the FA Cup this year. Absolutely. I think we still go for the, as far as we can in the Champions League, and Premier League, again, finish as high as we possibly can. The FA Cup's still there. It's a trophy I'd love to see us win. I'm gutted we're not going further in the Carabao Cup. I think it was an opportunity, but in the end, I sort of understand why we haven't, and I'm not going to get too annoyed about it. But at the same time, there are a lot of Villa fans who've never seen us win a trophy, and we're going to have to do that sooner rather than later, because it's, we got to do it. We got to win a trophy soon, because it's just gone on too long now, and we just don't want to become that club that ends up just looking at it and thinking we're never going to do it again. So yeah, frustrating. But look, I've rambled on long enough. We lost. We're out. I have absolutely no idea who's going to watch this. I barely even know if it was even worth doing this. Maybe I'll get like one view. Hi, Mom. Maybe I'll get 2 views. Hi, Dad. And maybe even 3, 4. Hi to my sisters who don't watch it. I don't even know if they do a podcast. They probably don't even know I do a podcast, to be honest. So yeah, thanks to anybody who was able to get through this. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. And follow us on Spotify, Apple, and all the other good stuff. Peace and love. Peace and love, as Ringo Starr would say. We're out. It's gutting. It sucks. But we go again, up the mighty Villa.